What if Samson looked more like this? I know this is not what I think Samson would look like either, at least because of what I've seen and, all the books I've read as a kid. Instead, I want Samson to look like this. But I think the other version, which of course is AI created, is probably closer to the real thing. Because if Samson looks like this is way more miraculous when he lifts up a city gate, or when he takes the jawbone of a donkey and takes out 1,000 Philistines, or in his death, he pushes over the pillars of the temple of the Philistines and takes more of the enemies of God out in his death than in his life. The Bible tells us that Samson, he was anointed by God, and that he would stir himself up. He would shake himself, and the anointing would come on him, and then he would do these great, miraculous, supernatural feats of strength. And I think just because he did things that took strength, we all assume he was physically strong. But the Bible doesn't tell us that he bench pressed himself into supernatural feats of strength. It was the anointing. I do know this, though. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 that no flesh will glory in God's presence. So whether you are or not the strong guy, the fast guy, the swift, the wise, or maybe you feel like you're the least among people, it doesn't matter. What matters is, will you submit yourself to the Lord? Will you do things God's ways? Because when you do things God's ways, you have His strength, His power, His Spirit, His anointing, His resources, and He's the God that makes impossible things possible. So let me know in the comments, which version of Samson do you think we should go with? I want him to be the muscle guy, but the more I read it, the more I think about it, I think he probably was the thin, wiry guy. Because when you see that guy carrying the gates of the city, you know it's not his strength.